Hi internet, so today I want to do a kind of TBR video. So I can't do the TBRs where I'm like, this week I'm gonna read these books, or this month I'm gonna read these books. It doesn't work. It has never worked for me, trust me. I've tried TBRs, I've tried the jars, it's not a thing. No matter how much I want to pick up that series, I can't say, this week I'm reading that series and that's it. It has to be you know what I want to read? I want to read Winter. I want to read Winter. I'm actually reading Winter at the moment. I thought I would do a kind of TBR on books that are sitting on my shelf staring at me that I want to read and get to in no particular order. The first one we have is Poison Studies by Maria V. Schneider. I just want to reread this series. That's it. Also, there's 3 more books in the series that I haven't read and I should get onto that, and I feel like rereading the first 3 that I love so much will get me into it. So far, I'll read a couple of pages then I'll decide I need to read something else. I'll read a couple of pages then I'm reading Winter. It's a varying degree of things, but we'll see how this goes. This isn't a high priority. It's just like I have that need for some Yelena and some Valak again. Fun fact, Yelena and Valak have been like my top OTP, but then, you know, recent happened. Rysand. I know it's pronounced Reese and Recent, but it's Rysand, so I don't care. It's Rysand. 1984 by George Orwell is another one that I want to get to. This is one that I've been considering buying for a long time, and I finally bought it, and now I have it, so I should read it. But I don't know how I'll go with it. And then one of the guys at work was talking to me the other day after I'd just gotten it and I was holding it, and he was like, oh my god, that's really good, like this thing. And I was like, oh my god, now I have to read it. It's just one of those things that's put on my list of books that I want to get. I want to get the Animal Farm copy of that as well, but we'll see how that goes. Half Wild by Sally Green and Half Lost by Sally Green that I don't own yet, but it's on my thing of books I'm about to order. Here's the thing though, I loved Half Wild. Not Half Wild, Half Bad. That one. I loved it so much. But even like picking up Half Wild, this isn't a book that I can read while doing things or needing to have a life. This is a book where I need to sit down for 8 hours and do nothing. I don't think it'll take me 8 hours to read, but I don't know, because there is no getting me out of this book. Every time I have tried to pick it up and I start reading it, I read it. I don't do things. And that's the way I want to read a book, but at the same time, it's kind of distracting. So yeah, I want to read this. It's been glaring at me off my shelf for ages now. Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, also known as the Infernal Devices series. I don't know, I just wanted to I kind of want to read these books. I also kind of want to finish Mortal Instruments, but we'll get to that later. I'm torn on this because I hear a lot of different things on the reading order. I've read the first 3 Mortal Instruments, right? Then people say read the Infernal Devices, and apparently they're really good, and then read the last 3 Mortal Instruments books, and I'm like, but do I want to put in the time to read a series that I might not finish because I don't like Clary? This seems like the safest bet, and I'll probably get the next 2 books so that I can start reading this. That's pretty much the only reason I haven't read it, is because I only have 1 book of it. I realise I haven't been explaining these books, but like some of them get explanations because they're not well known. Other ones, I might not know anything about them, so you're not getting an explanation. This is how I read. I will like hear something about a book or see a cover and read the synopsis and be like, oh yeah, that's real interesting. Then I put it on my shelf and I forget about it purposely, and then I pick it back up and be like, I feel like this suits this mood. We'll get this. We'll read this one. Half the time not knowing anything about it. Demon Road by Derek Landy. For this one, I got a small sample chapter and I read it and I loved it, so I had to read the rest of it. It's something like she turns 16, finds out she's a demon, her parents wants to kill her, so she runs away and they're on the hunt for her. It's really interesting. I am only like that far into it, and then I put it down. Story of my life. But I do plan to continue reading this because look at that, look at the pretty shiny. It's shiny. It's shiny and pretty. Just like, I like the concept of it, and the car, and like the small things that if you know like horror mythology, I guess, and like random folk stories and shit that happen in America, that you'll like pick up on this and be like, ha, the Demon Road, hey? Or if you've watched like Supernatural, that also will help you in understanding Demon Road, just like anything like that. The next book I want to read, but I'm tempted not to read, but I also want to read, but Clary's a stupid bitch, is City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. I can't describe to you how many issues I have with Mortal Instruments. Like, while I read the first 3 books, I loved them, I couldn't get enough of them, I had to get them straight away, like I couldn't wait in between reading the e-books. And then like I finally got the hardcovers in the mail. I got the first 5 in like the box set, and it just, I don't know. I stopped. I didn't pick it back up. Sebastian was probably the last straw, actually. I was just like, nope. And then I stopped reading, and I should continue reading, hence why this is on the TBR. But at the same time, I don't know if I can because Clary's a stupid bitch. And I've tried to watch the movie. I can't watch the movie. I've tried to watch the TV show. It just like doesn't interest me enough. Like I liked it, but I didn't like it that much. I want to finish reading The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North, because like I started reading it and I liked it, and then I got that far in and I stopped reading it. Although I have one complaint. If we make this book naked, you can see it's like bubbled, because I was like carrying it around too much. It's on the front and the back. I think I've explained this before. First 15 Lives of Harry August, so every time he dies, he's like born again in his same life. Like the same life, never ending sort of thing. By the time he's 6, he has all his memories back. There's certain humans that have this ability. The world's ending faster and faster. It's being traveled down by these people, and you get to see how he deals with his different lives, and it's interesting, and it's really thought-provoking, and there's like physics in it, and science, and anything that has physics and science, I'm just like, I like physics and science. I really do. There's like touches on religion too. Touches on a lot of topics. I may have skipped to the end, so I kind of know what happens, because I'm terrible that way. But at the same time, it's still a good book, and I should finish reading it. I think it's just like too much, and I need a lighthearted read named Percy Jackson. You might have noticed a trend of a lot of books that I've started and I haven't finished. It's really weird. It's like I have a problem with committing. Queen of the Tyrolean by Erika Johnson. I don't know, but it has this, and it has the... It's like so pretty. I mean, you can see the dust. To there. To there. And I stopped reading it. And do I need to finish reading it? Hell yeah! So from what I can tell, there's like this princess who was like sent away to live in the forest or whatever. And then like she's got like people are taking her back to a castle or something. I can't particularly remember. She is the Queen of the Tyrolean. Let's see if this tells me, because this might make me pick it up. An untested young princess must claim her throne, learn to become a queen, and combat the malevolent sorceress in an epic battle between light and dark in the spectacular debut, the first novel in a trilogy. I mean, that sums it up. It's pretty, and I like that it's pretty. And I didn't hate the writing when I was reading it. Like, I did quite enjoy it, but I think I just got frustrated with the character, which happens at the start of a lot of books for me. Like, I will get frustrated with a number of protagonists because I'm just like, oh, you need to learn today. Then by the end of the book, they have learned today and we're fine. But at the start of the book, I'm like, oh, you need to learn today. I can't take this. So that was probably why I was so frustrated and put this one down. Going on pretty covers. We have As I Darken by Kristen White. I liked another book by Kristen White, and then I saw this pretty cover, and it's about Vlad the Impaler's daughter, or it's like, someone, I remember saying it when it came out, was like, Vlad the Impaler if he was a girl, but no, you got Vlad the Impaler, then you got his badass daughter, and it's about her, and he also has a son, but the badass daughter, and it's just like seeing her slowly turn into like his little device of murder. But it seems good. The writing's good. The way the story's woven is good. But like, I put it down and then I didn't pick it back up again, and this is the story of my life. But like how pretty it is. It's just like, I am not a shallow person until I am pretty shallow. But when it comes to books, I become like exponentially shallow. And like if a book has a terrible cover, I'm still gonna love the contents of the book. That's beside the point. But if it has a pretty cover, I'm gonna like the pretty cover. I'm gonna show you the pretty cover, and it's gonna be real pretty. We understand, yeah. Lastly, we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This has been on my shelf since The Bone Season came out, and it's been something that I'm like real interested in knowing, real interested in reading, but I haven't picked it up. And then now I'm seeing, because they're doing the pre-promotion all over YouTube, BookTube, I guess you probably should have seen it by now, that like they have new pretty covers that all match for the trilogy, and now I want to buy all the pretty colours, but then I have this one. And what am I going to do with this one? Are they covers to match this one? Because then I'll get them. But like, they're pretty, and we already spoke about me having issues with pretty books, and I need all my series to match in their formats and their covers. I can't have mismatched series like Magisterium by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. I have the first edition of that, which looks very different to the now paperbacks that are out in Australia that have got like white and stuff. I went and brought it again. Poison Studies, I have 2 copies of that because I have like the first 3 books and that one that I showed you. Then I have the next 7 books, no, 5 books, whatever, in like the pretty Australian covers, which are black with like flame thingies. They're so pretty. I also don't know what The Bone Season's about. I remember being told something about magic. I don't know. You get a real in-depth look at like me knowing that I liked the concept of this book, knowing that I like the authors at times, but like not knowing what it's about, but I still want to read it. That's the resounding thing in me, is like, I know I want to read it. I know I'm gonna like it, but what the fuck's it about? Cebriel, no fucking idea. Like, I knew it had magic. That was it. That was it. I think I tried to read the first chapter once and I was like, oh no, Parson, dead things. I'm intrigued. And then I put it down. I remembered that when I went to pick Cebriel back up and I'm like, oh, that's right. Magic and dead things. Dead things. I'm trying to think of what other series I knew like nothing about before I started reading them. Poison Studies, you know, nothing about that series. I know a little bit about the Lunar Chronicles. Like, I knew Cinder was a cyborg and it was a Cinderella retelling. That was it. Now I'm reading Winter. What else? Pretty much every book on my shelf. There were very few books that I'm like, I know everything about you. That was it, really. That's my weird TBR. That's not a TBR. This video is going to be real long and hopefully not as long when I've edited it. But I'll talk to you guys later.